Good evening, everyone. This is the 8 o'clock hour of the Diana Wright Show live. It is the show that we allow men to speak and speak their minds, but I just got off my computer and there's a new study hot off the press. It says men and women all lie about sex. Now, they were talking about different things, like who lied more about cheating and who lied less about cheating and all that kind of stuff. So I'm here to say that the survey says men and women all lie. So we're going to bring Dax in because he's here and we're going to welcome him to the program. Hey, Dax, what's up? Stop trying to fix it.
Hi.
It's good. Oh, there you go. Vanya is here too. All right. Well, you got to fix Vanya better than that. You're cutting off her head. Hey, Miss Vanya. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. Okay. I have some hot questions here. So I'm glad Vanya is here because some of them I kind of X'd out because I wasn't sure Vanya was coming. So okay. The first one is, are men wired to cheat? Are they just wired to do that or not? Why are you trying to lose Vanya now? She's ghosty. You're giving her a ghosty look. She was good just now. What happened? What did you do? What are you doing there? Don't touch anything. Once you've gotten the shot, please do not touch anything, Dax. No, you have too much light on Vanya's face now. So, there you go. What did you do? No, you're having like a ghost. There you go. That's better. That's much better. That's good. Okay, Dax, do not. There you go again, Dax. What are you touching? I know you're touching something. Why you're getting ghosty. And you're making Vanya look like a ghost.
All right, hold on.
Okay. All right, I'm going to take you off until you fix it. Okay. All right, so we're going to ask lots of questions, and now that we know that Vanya is going to be here with us, she will answer some of the ones that women, it's all women that are really asking these questions that I took off my computer, but some of them, are a little more risque, if you will, than some, and some are actually pretty much what you would want to hear about. So, we want to let that go until Dax is ready. Just reminding you that April 30th is I Love Me Day, created and brought to you by the Diana Wright Show Live. We do this every Thursday evening at the 8 o'clock hour. And of course, do join me tomorrow morning at 10:30 for when we just kind of rip the news apart, and lots of stuff to rip apart tomorrow inside of Wow Friday. All right. So while Dax is trying to straighten up the studio there and get things right, because I don't want them to look ghosty. I want them to look good and nice and crisp on the screen. So the survey just pointed out that men and women do lie, and women actually cheat too. 19% of women say they cheated, and 23% of men say they cheated. So we're kind of almost equal there. So when we're thinking that men are doing all the cheating, not necessarily so. Women are also doing the boogie cheat. I didn't know that. I thought women were more on the faithful side, but I found out that they're not. So as we get to the boogeyman, we'll find out what Dax thinks about the fact that, it's only 23% to 19%. They only spoke to about 300 people anyway, so that's better. Right there is good. Okay, Dax, do not touch anything. That's a perfect shot. And I'm going to put you up now. So, hey, welcome again to the show. And I want to hear what you were going to say. I think you were about to make a comment about the question I asked.
Well, the question he asked was, are men wired to cheat?
Right. It's right here. Are men wired to cheat?
And I would have to say, yes, men are wired to cheat. But guess who? What? Who they cheat with?
Some Dax, you're evil.
Oh, listen,
You're
men
definitely.
are wired to cheat because their natural instinct is to feel, hey, this is what I'm supposed to do. Right? So instinctually, they're going to be stimulated, attractive, ready to jump into action. If they get the right signal, if they get the right signal, so who is giving them the signal?
The female. Well, that's the reason the survey says it's 23% of men that cheat and 19% of women that do cheat, admittedly so. And that's the reason they've come to the conclusion, say both men and women lie about this
All right.
whole sex thing.
Okay, now, after you get past that, then you have to understand, to me, the next process is to try and understand what are the things that motivate us beyond our natural instinct. So we all want to survive, first of all. You know, so we want to survive, but the procreation instinct of reproducing is there. But really, it comes down to just lust and you know, stimulation and, you know. So the challenge right now, to me, is that kids, young boys, young men, the young men find it much harder to be faithful. But as you get older, you become more aware of your feelings and you are able to keep them in check.
Okay.
So I am stimulated as much as when I was younger. I can't say it's the same level. It's I can admire, appreciate, and identify an attractive woman, but in terms of any type of, you know, desire to, you know, I need to talk to her, I need to get to know her, that's not there. But I think that's more about maturity than necessarily my libido has died down, you know?
Okay. All right. I want to ask Vanya, is the myth that women who are Indian origin are more sexual than other women, is that correct, or is that a myth? Because I've heard that since I was a kid. Seriously. So let's hear what you have to say. Or should Dax be answering that question?
Yeah, well, Vanya wouldn't know what other women are like.
No, she wouldn't know. But I mean, you know, coming from a different culture, she might hear things and people say things. I mean, you know, she don't have to be the one saying it. Have you ever heard that saying though? Dax, you must have heard that because that was something in big in Jamaica that people used to talk about.
Well, the thing is, in Indian culture, and I don't know if the Indians that migrated to Jamaica, they follow that or not, but girls are raised very differently. They're actually, you know, when the time is there, there's a lot of emphasis on sex as far as like it's a very important part of a girl's life. So you know, your grandmother or your mom will tell you that, look, when it comes to sex, you cannot hold back. That is like, if you just have to be really, really good that you know, that the husband you are with or your partner should feel like, wow, this is a whole different person when this person comes to bed, and it's in a good way, you know.
Wow.
So yeah, there is. I mean, it's constantly there's a lot of emphasis is laid on it. It's a subject. It's discussed.
Okay, and, it's discussed. Well, see,
I was raised around that, and you know, of course, I mean, my grandmother always told me one thing that, you know, I find it sexual. I don't know if people would or not, but she would always tell me that, you know, when you're with a man, always remember it's not the girl that's in front of him is more important. It's the one who's in his heart. And you can take that space when you know how to, you know, take care of him as a mother when you are with him in your general life. But when you're in bed, you should be like worse than a stripper or worse than, you know, any professional, any sex professional. As long as you can do that, you'll have a space in the man's heart that is very hard to touch. So I remember that very clearly. That
Yeah, grandma.
see, grandma is hot. No, but I'm telling you, it's such a different. It's a difference in culture because other cultures, like other Caribbean islands, sex is not even discussed. Some people I remember in Jamaica, they're still telling their children that babies come from the sky. That kind of thing.
It's funny because I actually believe it has a lot to do with the British influence on our culture.
They are very conservative. Yes.
Chinese, Indian, and the other African. Well, I don't know. I can't speak for African. That's funny. But I am what I know of Chinese culture. There is a timidity. There is a conservativeness, but at the same time, there is certainly an emphasis on sex in the relationship.
Yeah.
But I think the British culture says, hey, it's not proper, it's impolite, but I don't think that in Britain is necessarily that way. I think there is a lot of...
You mean they were lying to the people in the Caribbean?
Huh?
They were lying to the people in the Caribbean while they are doing it hot over there.
Yeah. Well, put it this way: the hoity-toity, uppity people don't have sex or don't talk about sex, but the general masses in England, I think, can certainly appreciate great sex.
Okay, all right. Okay, I have here a question. How do I lure my shy husband into something a little more wild? This is a question coming from a female.
And I think that
how would you answer that? How would you answer that?
I think 90% of it has to do with his fundamental belief about sex. So if he comes from the point of view that sex is, private, any type of outward demonstration would be considered to be low class again, then it's going to be very difficult for her. And what she would have to do is really engage in that conversation, not as a sexual conversation, but more as a value conversation in terms of, A, I am giving you permission to be this way. And B, I don't think that at the end of the day, anybody is going to think any less of us because we're adults. But we have a lot of preconceived, subconscious baggage around sex or around our values in general, and it plays a role in sex, in work, in relationships, in how we deal with our kids, how we deal with money, and all the aspects of our life. So again, I think for that woman, she needs to have a conversation more in terms of his value system in helping him more comfortable.
Before she get to the wild side.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, Vanya might know how to answer that.
Vanya, do you have any tips? Well, I see that Vanya is wearing my I Love Me shirt, and I can see how fabulous she looks in it.
Thank you. I get so many compliments. Everywhere I go wearing it, people stop me, and I get so much attention.
Well, you look gorgeous in it, too.
From women, because women look at it, and I believe it just starts a trigger. Like, when was the last time I said that to myself?
Okay, wonderful.
They don't do that.
I'm happy to hear that. So are you going to take a stab at that question, or we need to move on?
I find it kind of, and I'm sure the person who has that question is experiencing that problem, but I again, maybe it's my cultural thing. I kind of find it hard to believe any man could be could be a certain way when it comes to sex. I believe all men have a more wildness to them naturally versus women.
Right.
So as a woman, if you are feeling it, it's time to maybe change your approach towards it. If you are always coming to bed with that preconceived notion, or even if it's a reality that, oh, forget it, it's going to be the same old, and he's not going to
so moldy.
Then that's what you'll get. But if take charge, and Billy, I have very limited experience, trust me. But I feel if you take charge and create an environment, he would give in, trust me.
Okay, he will give in. No, so you take charge. Okay, lady, take charge of your situation. Okay, here's another one. The sex is lukewarm. Are we destined to have a horrible sex life, or can we then do something to make it better? Is it always going to be fireworks in the bedroom, or no? Okay.
You know,
okay, Dax is going like this. Okay, should I answer that or should I not?
Vanya didn't hear the question. So the woman is asking, sex is lukewarm.
Lukewarm, and
Should I-
are they destined to have a horrible sex life for the entire process of the marriage?
Lukewarm right now
Yeah.
between them.
Yes,
Oh,
it's lukewarm right now. But does
You
that
know-
mean that they can't? It's not going to get better?
All right. So let's really break it down.
Okay.
Sex has two major components: a mental and a physical aspect.
Right.
Right? So a lot of times lukewarm is because it may be too routine. Everything is planned, everything is, according to schedule, and you may want to change up, go out, get out of your comfort zone in terms of space, place, time, and everything else.
Okay.
But then it may also have a physical aspect where I actually believe that one of the biggest mistakes is that women feel uncomfortable to tell men what they want.
Yes,
They have
I
this
agree.
position that,
I agree.
that he should know. And, luckily,
Luckily, you're open enough to speak, right?
well, luckily, I feel like, no, I can say to you, no, Vanya don't want to tell me everything to do. That is, I accept that.
Right.
But at the same time, having a little experience gives you some
knowledge.
preparation. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Practice.
Practice. Okay, practice. Yeah, because I guess if you practice, you're married for a while and because I think most newlyweds would start out, especially if you get married young, would start out a little green. And, especially if you're both virgins, then you have to just kind of work your way and practice and let it grow and build. I would think so. That would be...
Yeah, but you have to train to practice though. Sometimes it's not just in the bed. You have to actually work out on getting your body to be able to perform certain ways.
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay, because the next question that I have here is my husband gained weight and now he doesn't get aroused. What do I do? And there's
That's
also a question about a
circulation
woman.
problem.
Huh?
There's a circulation problem.
Oh.
So you need to get the circulation going,
Wow. Okay. A lady asks, does size matter?
I have to make Vanya answer that one.
To women, I think it does to women because they say that, I was reading a survey the other day and they were talking about the different size of male penis around the world, and of course the Congo came up 7 whatever inches, and poor French men, the women in France were saying, oh, the French men and the Oriental guys are small. So they're saying even though French men are so romantic, they're still
why
not
they're romantic.
able to satisfy the women who are French because of their small. It was online. I talked about it a whole day almost here. So seriously, that was one of the things. And they found that the guys in America, American men, were just in the middle somewhere. They're neither big or small. They're just about in the middle. So, when you go online, you cannot imagine the amount of information you get about these things.
Vanya wants to know who won. Who was the top of the list?
Congo. The men in Congo were 7 inches or something like that.
Congo.
In the Congo. In Africa. Yes, they were the largest. Okay. All right. Here is some. This is one that I asked Dr. Melanie on Tuesday evening, and she said that when I speak to you, I should ask you, do I use sex to feel needed? This is a woman. She's saying that she's asking, is she guilty of using sex to feel needed?
Well, I have encountered obviously many different well, not obviously, but I've encountered many different attitudes towards sex. And I find that there's a type of woman who is submissive and docile, and she just feels, I'm here, use me. I'm here to serve you.
Right.
And then there's the woman who is aggressive. She feels, I want to be in charge, and she's very, I'm going to take lead, and I want what I want, and she gives instructions and directions.
Right. Okay.
And then there's a woman who is, sexy, and she's able to draw you in, and cause you to have the chase. You want to pursue her, and the process for me, that number 3 person is right here.
Okay, Ms. Vanya, you get some scores there.
But back to the question. Yes, there is that woman who feels her role is to satisfy the man sexually, and unfortunately for her, she's losing on both ends, because
I would think
man
so.
is not feeling. That's not. I don't think there's any man that's looking for that in a woman. I mean, he may be have his own issues, and therefore that's what he wants. So you have these men who want a mail order bride from Vietnam or China or wherever, and is this submissive woman that just pleases them.
Right.
But I think a healthy, mature man in today's society wants an equal, a partner, somebody who he can have a conversation with. I saw something the other day that in terms of the roles, we have an unreasonable expectation from our partners. We want this person to satisfy all our needs, whereas in the past, we would be able to be part of a community where we work with the men, and we, women go cook with the family, and, they take care of kids, and there's a whole clear divisions of labor, whereas today men are taking care of kids, men are fixing meals, women are working, women are leading successful careers, and I think there's a general confusion. So I would think that woman is better off being more selfish about her needs in that sexual relationship, while still serving her husband, while still satisfying her husband.
Okay, you mentioned kids, and there was a kind of conversation going on online. Do you think that children are sex killers, and is marriage a sex killer? So once a woman gets a ring, I have a headache, I don't really want to do this tonight, kind of thing. And yes, when you have kids, it's another sex killer. I guess Vanya can speak to the kids part. Are kids sex killers?
No, I would have to disagree.
Okay.
I would have to disagree. What happens is, you have to understand your own self. A lot of times, women are so particular about their kids that they want to do everything all day long for their child or children, even though dad wants to help. They're like, no, but you can't do it this way. It has to be done this way. You don't know how to do it right. And so at the end of the day now, and this is a busy lifestyle, especially in America,
right.
Women have it hard. In Jamaica and India, we have helpers. You don't do your own dishes. Here, everything you have to do.
You have to do yourself.
So, by the end of the day now, you're extremely tired running around. And the first thing that it takes a toll on is sex.
Right.
And immediately the mind goes on, oh yeah, but I was, because of kids, because I was running around behind them, I couldn't put them to bed on time. And it's not a healthy thing for you or your children, because subconsciously that is now always feeling he's come second. Kids take the priority. I don't think your kid can ever tell you, Mom, don't have sex. It's a balance. I mean, we have a 5-year. I have a 5-year-old. He's with us, and you just we've never had that problem.
Okay, and that you can speak to the marriage part. But both of you can speak to the marriage part. If marriage, did you think, like, when you got married to your separate partners, that the sex was affected by getting married?
Um, Again, I I would speak for my experience. When I came here, my best friend, I for some reason I always have guys as friends. He's an American, and he told me something to do with his girlfriend, that they were upset, they had an issue, and they were about to get married, and she now didn't want to have sex. Every time he wanted to have sex, she was like, oh, no, I can't do it.
Yeah.
And I couldn't understand or relate to that at all. And he literally sat me down and explained to me that women sometimes have a tendency to use sex as a tool to win over certain things, or to take, especially when after they know that now I'm engaged or I'm married, I have him. So sex is something like a carrot that's dangling. If I will do it. So I could not understand the concept. I still don't understand it. I feel like it's your loss as a woman versus a man when you start start using that attitude. I would then with experience, I have seen a lot of my friends that after marriage they take it really for granted. I think that we have to understand something very important here. What changes after you get married? Are there some physical changes that cause a woman to have a low sex drive? And then that is related to, because I'm married now, I take it for granted.
Right.
Because if your own sex drive is healthy and great, it doesn't matter whether you're married or not. You would enjoy sex irrespective.
Okay. All right. Good answer. Okay. There's someone here saying, I fantasize about a guy from college, even though I'm happily married. Am I being a bad wife or a bad partner?
Absolutely not.
Uh-oh.
Absolutely
Really?
not.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you why.
Please do.
The first thing is, I used to feel that every fantasy I had, I should make it a reality. And
Okay.
that a fantasy was just a guideline to what you really want. So to really be satisfied, you have to satisfy the fantasy.
Okay.
Today, I am clear. Fantasies are just that. They're the way in which you can experience things beyond your own circumstance without the hassle, the headache, and the risks sometimes involved in them. And if you can find that person who you fantasize about and you also live with, wonderful. But in many cases, while you'd love the person and have a great relationship and they satisfy you in every way, there are times when you want something that's different just because it's different, and a fantasy is a perfect way to have it. Now, if her problem is that she don't have any interest in the person she's with, and she finds no pleasure with that person, and the fantasy is just dominating her life, then she may need to do something about it. But in general, as far as a tool for arousal, for sparking the orgasm when necessary, I'm okay with that. So it's okay to fantasize about somebody else.
Is it okay to fantasize, Vanya?
I'm giving Vanya permission to tell her if there's somebody else that she
wants to fantasize about.
Once in a while. I hope it doesn't dominate the sex life.
I hope not. Okay, we're inside of the 8 o'clock hour.
Clarify that.
Huh? Go ahead.
There's not necessarily somebody that I'm fantasizing about. I just understand fantasy now in its proper context.
Okay, we are speaking to Dax and Vanya, and it is Men Speak. It's Thursday, and we like to open up and just talk about sex, the things that a lot of us just don't want to address in our lives, even though it's a major part of our lives, as you hear from talking to Dax and Vanya, and the questions that are being asked. Because I just took this entire 50 questions offline yesterday. So, all right, let me go to another one here. I think a lot of people can relate to this one. I'm very stressed out and can't focus during sex. What can I do? So we move from fantasy to stress now.
Well, as I said, I think breathing, making time is what I would have to say. sex should not be something you fit in. Sex should be something you plan for and you work towards. It shouldn't be routine. It shouldn't be, okay, it's 8 o'clock, let's go and have sex.
Right.
But it should be something that you actually make time for. You actually, don't make it a afterthought.
Okay. A woman is asking, should I worry about my husband watching porn DVDs?
I don't think she should worry.
No? Okay.
I think she should, if she could, it would be a good idea to join him and then understand more about what his fantasies are. Listen, the best guy out there, if he can go a half an hour, is great.
It's plenty.
So if you can invest, as a woman, you can invest half an hour to keep the man satisfied.
You should go ahead and do
the best half an hour you're going to spend for your day.
Okay.
If you take care of that, everything else fall in line. He'll take out the garbage. He'll come home at night. Everything else will work out, in my opinion, in my observation. And
well, you're a male, and I would think that most men think in the same kind of vein. So is there such a thing as too much sex? This person is asking. I think all these questions came from women. Is there such a thing as too much sex?
Well, everything is relative. So, I think the physical limitations, you get sore, maybe something to be concerned about there. If you're having sex and not being productive, you're not going to work or taking care of your kids or all of that, but if it's constantly a preoccupation and stuff, so I think there's always, the chance that everything in moderation. And
okay.
There's always a chance that's possible, but I don't think in America that's generally the case.
Well, there are quite a few sex addicts in America. Remember, even the president was being accused of being one, President Clinton at one time. So we might just have to think about that. Anyway, this person is saying that they're getting married and her husband-to-be is having a bachelor party. Should she be jealous about the fact that there are naked women there doing their thing and, those bachelor parties, what happened? Should there be jealousy, or should she just say it's just a party? Even though we have seen men who are getting married who go to bachelor parties and get in trouble. We've actually seen that.
Yeah, and I think that when I cannot speak to different people's value systems, but in my observation, I think that the sensitivity around sex is way too much. We give it too much. We can't be afraid or overly concerned about sex. So it becomes this big elephant in the room when sex is just it's a good, healthy thing, and now move on with your life. So, in terms of the bachelor party, it should be more if he's having a bachelor party with him and just the strippers, then be concerned. But with all his friends there and everything else, it's just a rite of passage and nothing to really take on at this point.
Okay, my special guests, Dax Dunn and Vanya, we are here and we're talking about sex, relationships, and we really want men to speak. So, if you're a guy out there and you're watching, and I know there's some of you there watching and you're just afraid to call because you think somebody's going to recognize your voice, don't be afraid to call. It's important to let us know and let women know what men really want and what are they looking for without us having to have a bashing show of bashing men, because that would be easy. There are tons of things that we can just pile on and say men are this and men are that and all that good stuff. But what is it that we are or should allow men to say about their needs? Okay, here is one that I thought was important. Should I be worried if my husband doesn't always have an orgasm? Because most of the times it's the women, worrying about that. The fact that, as a matter of fact, I think I have a question here for one. Yes. Should I be worried Would you want Vanya to worry if you have sex one time and you don't have an orgasm, or it's
No,
okay?
I wouldn't want her to worry. And you know, there's three possibilities.
Yeah, because I was actually shocked about that question, because I thought it's always the other way around. Women not having orgasms. I didn't even know that it was possible for a guy to not have one.
Yeah, man, it's possible.
Seriously, I did not know.
Yeah.
I thought men were just the machine to go for that all the time.
There's three possibilities. One, he's not turned on, he's not interested.
Okay.
But it's very unlikely if he has an erection that's the case. So
Oh, okay.
impotence and lack of ability to perform would be the number one reason, right?
Okay.
Number two is that, you know, he just, that point cannot be reached.
Oh.
And number three, he intentionally not wanting to get to that point. That I have experienced holding back to the point of not being able to climax.
Is that because their fear of pregnancy, or
No.
for the woman?
No, because, you know, you don't want to be a 1 minute man. Right?
Oh my God! What on earth is a 1 minute man, Dax?
Come on. You do not want to be premature.
I thought that was mostly for older guys.
No. It's mostly young guys. The young guy who is so excited and really turned on and just overly stimulated. As soon as the opportunity comes, he's done.
Wow.
Right?
Oh, wow. I thought that was an older guy, erectile dysfunction kind of thing. Okay, got
The
it.
premature ejaculation.
Yes, I didn't know that young guys have that. I guess you could say that, because they're excited and anxious. Anxiety?
Right. Yes.
Okay. Anxiety. Okay. All right.
And then now so now you as a man, my goal as a man. Honestly, this is my personal objective. Is I want to please the woman.
Okay.
That gives me pleasure. So the more I see her responding to me, is the more turned on I get. But I have to manage the process, and sometimes you can hold back to the point of, now that it's time, you're beyond that point, and it's just.
Oh, okay. I got it. It takes what? This woman says it takes me about 30 minutes, to climax. How can I speed it up? I'm not quite getting that, because women normally take longer. Yeah, but doesn't women normally take longer? Period. Just in general.
Sure, but 30 minutes, the average guy, that would be a challenge for him to 30
That's
minutes.
what I would think. I would think so.
And believe me, I am not speaking only from my personal experience. I have
a group of friends. We know you must have friends, and you must have spoken to people all this time, so you know.
Yeah. So the back to that lady's question, the answer to her is that foreplay. That she needs to, you know, be able to direct herself through the foreplay that will give her the first 15, minutes that she now can then lead up to being on time for both of them.
Yeah, but women normally take a much longer time to get ready. I mean,
right.
Mentally,
and
I
getting
think.
ready doesn't have to be in total reliance on the man. She can actually start making herself ready in the thought process, in the you talk about.
I'm a little confused. I think I would say that it can happen if you are totally consumed by the thought about it. Sex is something that you should allow it to flow as naturally
As possible.
as it should, as spontaneous as it should. Even this person that it takes them 30 minutes, I would definitely pay attention that how much time I'm putting in constantly thinking about. As soon as you get to it, okay, wait, it's going to be 30 minutes before I can actually feel something. I can actually climax. So stop doing that. Just go very, go with the flow. And even if you don't end up having a climax a few times, but you just make it a point to not think about how much time it takes you. I mean, how do you even know it's precise 30 minutes? Like, are you
Well, that's
timing
exactly what I couldn't understand. Now, what is she timing the thing or something?
I think it's like too much attention is being paid to how much time it's taking for things not to happen. And in that process, you're not enjoying what is happening, and that's delaying the climax even more. So just go very spontaneous, go with the flow. Don't wait for don't be too focused on the outcome. Enjoy the process.
Okay, all right. Go ahead, Dax.
I have one more point. That it should be. She needs to be more physically involved rather than mentally involved.
Right.
She's waiting for her mind to get to that point when, if she really put the attention on her body will respond a lot quicker.
Ah. Now, I think this is a crazy question, but I'm going to say it anyway. How can we sync up our sex schedules? And I'm going, what the hell does she mean by that?
No. So the man wakes up in the morning with a hard on. He's ready.
Yes, because men normally are better in the mornings, right?
Yeah, but
According to what I hear doctors say. I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying.
So yeah, okay, men might wake up ready to go. The dream, the well rested, blood flowing, everything, right? And she has to hurry to get the kids ready, get them after school. He comes home tired and things. So that's where the schedules are.
That's what she's talking about. Okay.
And all she have to do is wake up a little bit earlier. Wake up earlier or go to bed earlier. Start up, go to bed earlier. She's ready in the night, but he's tired. Go to bed. Huh?
Right. So
yeah, so she's ready in the night, he's tired. Go to bed early. Wake him up in the morning when he's ready. Get him done. You're done. Everybody. As a matter of fact, that works out perfectly because women after sex.
Doug said it works out perfectly.
Because women after sex have a lot more energy. Men want to sleep.
Yes, exactly. So how do you, seriously, if I'm getting up in the morning, I don't want to be having no sex when I know I have 10 things to do to get to where I want to go. Okay? So I'm not thinking about sex. I don't know about any other woman. I'm just not. Unless it's on the weekend, that's a different story. But during Monday to Friday, no.
You can imagine that if you said, okay, you know what, I'm going to go to bed earlier. Wake up with a good 45 minutes to spare. Kids still sleeping. Everything is fine. And I'm going to make this because, no, that's not my routine. Because there's so many other times during the day. So if that absolutely don't work for you as a woman, okay, forget that. But then call him in the middle of the day and say, come home, or let's meet up.
Yeah. In America? How do you do that?
Schedule some time. Make it a priority. That's the problem. You have to invest the time in paying attention to each other. And sex is very important.
I want to say that all of these questions that are coming and people that are experiencing all of these issues, whether it is how to, find time, please pay attention. It could very well be related to that individual having a low sex drive because and then subconsciously we create all these challenges. Excuses, sorry. Yeah, these are the reasons I cannot have sex because I just don't. But it could very well be a health condition or a mental condition where you're having a low sex drive. And if you start paying attention to it and fix that problem, which is the root cause of the problem, in my opinion. Because if you have a healthy sex drive, time, place, things don't matter. You will find a way. to get what
To
you
do
want.
what you need to do. Okay. All right. Somebody's asking about this, which is it normal for men to masturbate?
I think so. Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay.
And what about women?
Women, I think women do too.
Okay.
I do think so. I can't orgasm since we got married. Now that one I found to be very strange. What's going on? I'm going to definitely be asking the doctor that next Tuesday.
Subconscious
Yeah.
hang-up.
Oh.
Subconscious hang-ups. She sees her mom and dad as these sterile, conservative people who sex closed off from sex,
Okay. All right. Someone is asking about enticing my husband to have oral sex with me. And another lady's talking about having painful jaw pains now when she does this. So, any advice there? Interesting questions. I just thought these questions were very strange. Seriously speaking. But anyway, all right, moving right along. Okay, here's one now that I think these questions or these comments, shall we say, women looking for a guy, which you really shouldn't be looking, in my opinion. You should kind of make it just happen, okay? I don't think women should go out hunting. I really don't. I don't think women should be hunters. But if you are, that's okay too, okay? Don't be calling me and cussing me out. But they're saying that there are some men that women may just be overlooking. And these are some of the examples that they gave. Mr. Nice Guy. Because, a lot of women say, oh, I want a nice guy. But really, when they get the nice guy, they don't like that. They want this bad dude who's going to be having 3 girls and you have to fight to get him and keep him and that kind of thing. Why are you looking at me like that, Dax?
No. It's funny because...
Or would you like me to go down the list a little bit and then you pick the one you want to talk about?
Go ahead.
Because I can do that. Mr. Nice Guy. Mr. Friend Zone. You have a friend, but it's more than a friend thing, but you don't want to go there because you figure, oh, no, it's going to mess up the friendship. Because like Vanya, I have more guy friends than girl friends. Always. Okay? So, my Mr. Friend Zone. Could it be that the friend is somebody that you really like, but you don't want to say? Mr. No college degree. Oh, he doesn't have a degree, so he's not up to my snuff. So, I make $100,000 and he doesn't have a degree. How much is he gonna make? Then they go to Mr. Broke Down Car, and I wrote beside it when I saw that one. I went, remember Barack Obama, because remember now he had a hole in the bottom of his car where Michelle had to put her foot when he picked her up for the date. And he said she just smiled and went along with the program, and look what she is today. First lady. So, there you go. I just scribbled that beside the whole thing. Then it says, the single dad. Don't overlook a guy who is raising his kid and think anything. Okay, here's the other one. The white or other culture guy. So, if you're black, the white guy is okay too. Mr. Too Old.
All right, I'm gonna jump in right now.
Okay, jump in now.
And I think you reminded me with Barack Obama.
Yes, and Michelle. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I think that is a mistake. If we are looking for perfect fits, we are never going to find it.
A fit.
We need to understand how to develop a relationship, how to learn about ourselves and to learn about the people that we meet. We need to take the time to get to know them, to understand their strengths and their weaknesses, as well as our strengths and our weaknesses. That when you look for somebody, you're going to always, you won't always see what you want. But when you develop a relationship with somebody, you will work towards getting what you want. And, obviously everybody can fit. But there's so many times you looking for somebody and you think you need A and you find B, and after the end of the day you say, boy, B is for me, I'm happy with B. So
Okay, so Vanya, were you guys friends in the friend zone before you became in the love zone?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We were, yes, at least for me, right?
I thought it was love at first sight.
No. Yes.
That's you were love at first sight. My gosh.
I like I said, I just don't know why, but I always make guys as friends over women. And when I first met Dax, I instantly I just thought he was a very interesting person.
Okay, I hear that in the laughter. Ooh.
I mean,
hear that in the
I
laughter.
worked for him, but I just enjoyed watching him so much around women.
because Dax is very suave,
We would talk a lot, and we talked about everything. And I remember actually the first time we were really like, it was friendship for me, definitely. It was friendship because we were not hiding anything from each other,
Right.
and we could talk about anything and everything. So yeah, and that gave a very strong foundation to the relationship.
Very much so. Okay. All right. So what about Mr. College? No college degree. I thought that one was quite interesting.
I feel that a lot of these questions or these stipulations or the whatever you may call it, people put on when you're women, when you're trying to find a man, is because of lack of certain sense of self-confidence. And more I'm noticing that a woman could be very successful, a doctor or a lawyer in Western culture. I'm noticing that. But there is still a major lack of confidence in some area, and that now comes out as, well, the guy I want to be with must have X, 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 and X, or that guy is not fit for me.
Right.
Change it around. If you go to India, and we have very successful women like doctors, lawyers, but they are a woman first before they're a doctor.
Ah, okay.
And you see it like we celebrate marriage. We have festivals just to celebrate marriage. There are festivals that are just between couples, like we do the whole days full of those festivities where you put some henna tattoos on your hands.
Right, you guys have some long weddings.
And when that day is there or those festivals are going on, go talk to the biggest lawyer, go talk to the biggest gynecologist or a doctor or whoever. You'll see the same henna in their hands, like a housewife. They're all decked up. They're celebrating their day, and they're like a woman first before anything else. So I think it's an issue of having some sort of lack of self-confidence, hiding it with what we have achieved, and then trying to portray it. But it's a loss again. It's more a woman's loss than a man's loss. The ratio is 10 women to 1 man. And that's what I read. I don't know how true that is. And that's not including the ones that are not available. They're behind bars or other reasons,
Oh my God. Okay. All right. So
I wanna just add a little thing to what Vanya is saying, and she used the word self-confidence. And I think self-confidence or self-identity. That women, unfortunately, in American society have subconsciously decided
that
the role as the person, the ability to earn, the college degree, the level of success and his career makes him a man, and therefore that is what is really valuable.
Right.
So now she wants to achieve the same thing in order to be valuable. When what I hear from what Vanya is saying is that fundamentally we are valuable as men and women without the degree, without all of these conditions, without the car, without The looks, even the looks, that is such a big mistake. And, you know, I am a good looking man. I can say that myself.
You go, Dax.
You don't agree?
I said you go, Dax.
Right.
Yes.
And I'm saying, one of the first lessons I learned, I was probably about maybe 10. And I realized my looks have nothing to do with me. It's just a genetic, you know, condition that
you inherited from your parents.
Exactly. and if I walk around feeling that means I am somebody, I'm a fool.
Okay.
And likewise, the person who says, because you're not good looking, that means you're not somebody, they're equally a fool. So
Yes.
so the person who relies on their look is a fool. The person who is looking for looks is just as foolish.
Okay, Mr. Too Old. But then I wrote beside that, mature can be good though sometimes. The sensitive guy. You know, a lot of us say we're looking for a sensitive guy, but when we get him, we start wondering, is he gay or what? What's his problem? Why is he so sensitive? Okay, the guy without the swag, you know, like Barack has a swag. You can say, yeah, our president and Bill Clinton has a swag, you know, the guy without all of that. And then Mr. Blue Collar. Don't have to wear a suit. I wrote this beside that one. Someone does not have to wear a suit and tie with a corner office to be desirable. But you know, we got to be frank though. Women love men who are powerful, don't they? And men who are rich. Am I lying?
Women who are sexy, but I see a lot of big fat wives.
No, I'm serious though. Isn't it a fact that women are attracted to powerful men and rich men?
And that is unfortunately what if that's the way they go, they're gonna get what they get. Because
Yeah, but don't you know that is a fact though, Dax? I'm asking you, and Vanya, I'm asking you too. Aren't women more women?
You know, till I was 14 years old, I wanted to marry a gangster.
Okay, see, so the sensitive guy is not going to work for Vanya.
We'd never use the term gangster. The term they would use is smuggler. So
Yes.
I always wanted to be with a gold smuggler. That's the power. And, you know, he's got it and he has it. But that is how ridiculous the thought seems to me right now. Like, you know, a second cousin of mine, I was discussing with him, you know, what I would like in a man, and he's like, you understand that's a criteria of a smuggler. And then I started identifying like, the gold chain and all that. But, you know, again, and as we're talking about it, I will tell you, in a lot of cultures, and especially in Indian culture, that's a bad thing, that women are brought up saying, you don't need to work and do a lot of stuff, just find a rich guy and you'll be just fine.
Exactly.
So all that training for having cooking good and great, keeping your house good and great sex is so that you don't have to work or do whatever, and the man will provide. Do that and the man will provide for you. That's not how it is in US, but it's the other extreme where the women have totally like, okay, this is, I'm so high up that you need to come up to my level, you know. But anybody out there that is sitting and thinking that, you know, being rich or powerful is the number one criteria in their book to be with a man, they are so fooling themselves, because that is his power and his money. It has absolutely nothing to do with you. The tide can change any day. You if you're banking your whole life on somebody else's fortune and somebody else's strength, that is the worst. That is worse to me than going for somebody that's good looking.
Amen.
Because,
Amen to that.
Good-looking guy, at least you can have good-looking kids.
Seriously.
But
Seriously, because, and another thing, I'm glad you mentioned that, because some women also look for a guy who is handsome, who has good hair, quote unquote, because they want their children to be gorgeous. I mean, that is a fact. I know it.
Well, and I would have to totally agree with you, because that is, you know, the woman's nature is to reproduce. So she's looking for the strong, healthy, and attractive male to carry on offspring. So yes, and men too.
Men definitely. I have definitely heard men even say it in public. Look, I don't want no. I've heard someone actually say, a dark-skinned person saying, "Why are you bringing me that dark guy anyway? I need some vanilla in my coffee." Seriously, I've heard so many people say that when I was living in Jamaica, that it was actually incredible to actually say, are you just that empty that you're only looking for someone to reproduce and give you good looking kids?
Well, and unfortunately what happens is that we live in a society that values certain features more than they value others. And we can fight it all day long, or we can figure out how to play the game based on the hand that we've been dealt. And
Amen to that.
That's the end of the game. I mean, at the end of the day, it's about finding happiness for yourself based on what you have. And we like to say, success is getting what you want. Happiness is wanting what you have. And before you can be happy with what you have to know what you have, and that requires some level of introspection. You need to look into yourself and ask yourself, why do I want these things in another person? What's lacking in me that causes me to look for this in somebody else? And then when you can address that and find a balance, you will create a space for the right person to come along and fulfill what you really need in your life.
Amen. That's good advice. Any thoughts before you go, Vanya? Because the time is running out. I have tons more questions, so I'll just save them for next week.
I would agree with Dax that the first thing is, man or a woman, take care of yourself first. Anybody out there that is right now having some sort of challenges with their partner, whether it's them being like faithful to them or interested in sex or anything like that, right this minute, get up, go stand in front of the mirror, look at yourself, nobody around you, see what you like. And if you like what you see, then the world is at your feet. But if you yourself don't like what you see, you got to fix that first. Yes. Everything else will come right around.
Amen. What good advice.
We're right back to I
love me. Yes, and there goes the shirt. I'm serious,
But you love you. So learn to love yourself, learn to be in touch with yourself, learn to please yourself.
That's right.
And then the person will come along and you can share your pleasure with them.
I am truly happy about what Vanya just said, because it really is, it comes down to that, especially for the women. Because men, I think, even though a guy might be overweight and he has this big belly, he still feels that he can get any girl as long as he has some cash or whatever. But women need to do just what Vanya said. Look in the mirror. If you like what you see, the world is at your feet. If you don't, fix it.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much. That was great advice. Go ahead, Dax.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure as usual, and I thank your viewers, and I'm still waiting for the men to join me.
My goodness, they are so shy. Oh, please, I mentioned it to, my friend, and forget it. Hopeless. Hopeless chickens.
No problem. They'll catch up soon. Don't worry.
Eventually, we hope so. Thank you so much for joining me.
I have to create a space for them so they feel welcome, that no bashing, and I felt very comfortable. Very, very comfortable.
But see, we haven't been doing any bashing.
Exactly.
I mean, and it's kind of hard to sometimes not squeeze some bashing. But I've been very good. Vanya has been superior. Because she's just giving some good plain advice based on her experience and her culture, which is a little different from mine. So, I don't think the guys should be that squeamish, about calling.
They'll come along, don't worry.
Yeah, I'm not worried at all. I know they're out there. Trust me, I know they're watching too, and they're going, that Diana, she likes to bash guys, I ain't taking her on. So anyway, thanks so much for joining me. Have a great evening. Take care.
See you.
Ciao. All right. Oh my goodness, that is always so much fun having Dax and Vanya here with us inside of the Thursday evening 8 o'clock hour. What a fun show it always is. So we invite you to join us, and we are begging the guys. No, I'm seriously begging the guys to join the conversation. Seriously. And spread the word on Facebook and give us a thumbs up on Facebook, because Dax and Vanya are just willing to give you the advice you need. And I just went online, and these are the questions that women are seriously asking. So we would love for men to be able to answer them from their point of view, and just to let us know, what is it? Because, you know, everybody bashes guys all the time, but no one allows you to speak. Is it this the reason why they don't allow you to speak? Because you just won't speak? Because I just imagine asking a guy, what's on your mind? What's your goals? And they go, nothing. I'm going to ask Dax about that next week. So thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget that April 30th, 2014 is I Love Me Day right here on the Diana Wright Show Live. So we thank you so much for joining us from around the world and in the United States. And we hope, and we're looking for you same time next Thursday. But of course, before we get Thursday, I'd like you to join me tomorrow morning at 10:30 when we do Big Wow Friday. Dax and I will go through the news and slash and bash and kind of think about what went on this week that's significant, and some new news, of course. And then on Monday, I'm going to have Pastor Seaton, who will tell us a little bit and keep us updated as to what's going on with immigration. Tuesday, of course, we have Judith from People 490, who, you know, will help you to find a job if you're looking for one. And if you're an employer and you have a job, she will help you find someone to fill that job. And Wednesday is Wellness Wednesday with Dax and Diana again. And then, of course, it's back to Thursday. And, of course, Tuesday evening at the 8 o'clock hour, we have Dr. Melanie Simpson, and she helps us to kind of navigate through the medical scene. So we have some of those questions we have to ask her on Tuesday. So we hope that you will join us for each and every show. And if you miss a show, just jump up on YouTube, or, you know, my website is not totally updated, but you can get those shows on YouTube. Takes me a couple of hours to upload them to YouTube. And as soon as I finish a show, give it a few hours and it will be up on YouTube, so you can have a look just in case you didn't get to join us live. Once again, have a great evening and say ciao, adios, and au revoir to you. And also reminding you that if you love something, set it free. If it comes back, it's yours. If it doesn't, it was never yours. Have a great evening. Stay prayed up and be blessed. And don't forget 3 little words. I love me. And go on my web store and buy some of those t-shirts. Don't you see how sexy and fabulous Vanya looked in her I love me t-shirt? I'll be wearing mine tomorrow because I try to mix it up on a Friday. So Vanya just first me. Take care. And thanks for joining me. Ciao. Dooby dooby doo.